Pleased to be joined today by one of the top long track speed skaters in the world. She is a three-time Olympic medalist, including a gold medal in the team pursuit at the Beijing Games in 2022. She is once again teaming up with Sobeys as part of the Feed the Dream campaign, supporting our Canadian athletes as they push towards their goals at the upcoming games in Milano Cortina. It is Isabelle Weidemann. Isabelle, great to chat with you today. I know it's busy times for you right now as we are just weeks away from the games in Italy. How's the preparation going for you?
Yeah, it's been super busy. We just got off the World Cup circuit for the fall, so we do four back-to-back World Cups in Europe. I'm home for a week before we head back right before the Olympics, so it's a bit of a whirlwind right now, but it's been super fun. The team is doing super well, so it's really exciting to be a part of it.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned, you're once again part of the Sobeys Feed the Dream campaign. What can you tell us about it, and how has it helped you personally as you get set for another Olympics?
I'm so honored to be part of that team. It's such a cool community to be a part of. They're all about family, all about community, all about support, and yeah, it's been a major part of my build up into these Olympics. They helped me going into the 2022 Olympics, and now they've helped me going into these games as well. And it's just a really, really fun campaign to be a part of. Like I think it family, friends, nutrition, like that's all that encompasses, I think, Olympic athletes and amateur athletes across Canada. So yeah, I'm really stoked.
Yeah, I think that sort of gets lost for a lot of people, just how much behind the scenes things are happening and the
Mhm.
support that a lot of you receive. Because it's so important to be able to sort of just, kind of clear that out of your mind because you've got so many things to concentrate on as you get ready for these Olympics.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. That it's like these are the small things that make a huge difference for amateur athletes, and often the things that are people aren't able to afford, pursuing these big goals and going to the Olympics. And so Sobeys has come back and really helped athletes across all levels in Canada. And that's yeah, it's been amazing to help represent that and like really push that forward.
So your last Olympics was such a success, winning three medals, including the gold medal that I mentioned in the team pursuit. But I want to quickly go back to 2018 in PyeongChang, your Olympic debut. You came in fourth in the team pursuit, sixth in the 5,000, and seventh in the 3,000 meter. 4 years later, you get that gold in the team pursuit, silver in the 5,000, and bronze in the 3,000. How much did missing the podium in 2018 sort of fuel you going into 2022, if at all?
Massively. Yeah. No, I think that's been a really big proponent of my whole career, my kind of story in sport. I went into those games, I was 22, I was a bit naive. I was so excited to be on my first Olympic team, but I just missed out on the podium and that really stung. Like I placed exactly where I was ranked. So I didn't like, I didn't go in and come out with anything that was unexpected, but I think knowing like, oh, I was close and I was right there and I so badly wanted to step on the podium and bring something home from Canada for Canada. And that took me through the next 4 years, like putting my head down, training, investing where I needed to in nutrition. I think my family, my support team really saw that that was something that I wanted to do. And so the 4 years after those games were just like investing in that dream a little bit of bringing something home for our country, for our team. And yeah, that was like a fire that really pushed me through the hard moments.
So take me back to that gold medal win. You, Valerie, and Evany crossed the finish line. I imagine there's a range of emotions you're feeling, but you're also battling exhaustion because I think I remember,
Mm.
watching it back and you're sort of hunched over and just trying to catch your breath because you just left it all out there at
Yeah.
that point. What do you remember about that exact moment once the race was completed?
Well, on that day in particular, we raced twice. So we have the semifinals and then the finals, like maybe 45 minutes later. And they're two back to back events where you go maximum. Like you empty everything and then you hope that you can come back 45 minutes later and do it all again for the gold medal. And so I was definitely like a little bit delirious with exhaustion. That was our last event or my last event of the game. So we'd been competing for 2 weeks up to that point. I don't think I had a voice left just from like cheering on my teammates and being so involved in like all the Olympic stuff. Um, but I also remember it being really, really surreal. Like we crossed the finish line, we had no idea whether or not we'd won gold or silver, and looking up and seeing that it was an Olympic record, and so we had beaten our pair who were the Japanese, and that we were going to be standing on top of the podium. Like it was something that the three of us had dreamed about and talked about and really trained towards for the 4 years kind of leading into those games. But to then know that like this was a reality and this is something that we were going to be able to share together, like to be bonded for life through that. Yeah, like just all the emotions. Like I cried for sure right away. I think uh one of my favorite little videos after that is like we're all huddled together crying on the mats, and yeah, my coach is there and our support team is there, and yeah, just like a really surreal moment.
I was speaking with Jamie Korab, who won a gold medal in curling for Canada a few weeks ago, and asked him, what was it like hearing "O Canada" playing during the medal ceremony? He told me he had planned to sing the anthem like at the top of his lungs, but while it was happening, he watched it back and realized like nothing came out. Like he was just so frozen in time, just in sort of awe and everything. Had you considered what you were going to do? Getting the medal, standing on the podium. Did that ever cross your mind? And ultimately, how close did it get to what
Yeah.
you had envisioned?
I don't think we planned it too much. I think we were really just living like one moment at a time going into that race. And then you finish the race, you win, and all of a sudden your life goes on a bit of a 90-degree turn. Like there's media after that, and it's just this conveyor belt of things that you do. And all of a sudden they push you out onto the stage and you go to stand on a podium. And yeah, we like really had nothing planned. We did sing the national anthem very loud. We were all three of us were crying. But something that was funny that we then laughed about after is that we were all standing on the podium singing "O Canada," and for most of us that grow up in Canada singing "O Canada" in our classrooms, like growing up, we switched to English or French like halfway through the national anthem, and so all of us switched at this one point. And we're like, oh. Like we all grew up going to school here and like singing our national anthem both in French and in English, and yeah, so I thought that was kind of a funny moment.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do to switch languages midway. So at the games, this all culminates in you becoming the flag bearer for the closing ceremonies. And what do you remember about that whole day? And how did you sort of plan out what you're going to do when you walk out with the flag? It's a huge responsibility, of
Mhm.
course, to be able to do that. Were you nervous at all heading into the day? What was that moment like?
Yeah, I that was such an honor. Like I still really struggle to like talk about that experience and getting the phone call from Katrina Lemaidon, who was our chef de mission, and asking me to carry the flag. Like I was sitting there with one of my teammates when I got the call, and I just felt like really really overwhelmed with the like this amazing responsibility that I got to go and represent our team, and not just our speed skating team but like the entirety of Team Canada. And I was the one that was going to be welcoming in our athletes, and yeah, just like a really immense special moment. I was very exhausted at that point during the Olympics, um, but it like just the most amazing feeling to know that like I got to represent like my family back home, everybody that was cheering for Team Canada, all of the athletes that were going to then walk out into the stadium for the closing ceremonies. I honestly don't remember a lot of it. I feel like I was just really living in that moment of like getting to hold this big flag and being chosen for that. Like it was just so special.
Is it heavy? I've always wondered because it's on a huge pole. I know it's
Yes,
just a piece of fabric,
it's
but
a
yeah,
weird
it's
thing to learn how to do. I'm not gonna lie. Something I thought was a bit funny was that when they bring in all the flag bearers to like pick up the flags, it's just a giant pile of like flags and poles. Like, and it's other teams handing out like, oh, this is Australia. Oh, this is the UK. Like, it's it's not very organized. At least it wasn't for us.
that's so interesting. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Like, how do they hand it out? Is it, do they
Yeah.
unfurl it when you get there? But no, it's just
Nope.
on a
It's just a
pile.
giant pile.
Yeah, with everyone waiting to pick up their respective flags.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, all the media that you guys had to do, right after. But I'm
Mhm.
curious, what was life like for you returning home from the Olympics after 2022 compared to maybe when you came home after 2018?
Yeah, I think like I just had these very different experiences in these two Olympics, and having the success that I did, like your life changes a lot. In speed skating, we don't have a lot of there's not a lot of media other than the Olympic Games, and um, yeah, it was chaotic for sure. It was a lot of stuff that I'd never done before. Like I'd never spoken to media at the extent that I did after the Olympics, and I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun as well, like being able to showcase our sport and yeah, talk about the Olympics and like Team Canada and all that. But it was definitely like a big change. Like we don't in amateur sport in Canada, like it's showcased at the Olympics every 4 years. Otherwise, it kind of goes under the radar. So it was a really amazing experience.
So last one before we wrap up, and I'm always interested talking to high level athletes like yourself that compete on the highest stages. We always hear this concept of pressure, and we've heard
Mm.
some athletes say before that quote pressure is a privilege, but other athletes say that pressure doesn't exist to them. It's all sort of self inflicted. How do you view that concept as you head into another Olympic Games?
Yeah, there's definitely pressure. Like I think I got to see like what an impact having a performance like I did at the 2022 Olympics, like what that means to bring home to people. Like I had so many people, kids, like school, like whoever wanted to talk to me about what those performances meant to them. And I got to, give that to people and I felt so honored to do that. And I definitely after that experience, after those games, like felt the pressure of wanting to bring that to people again. And it's been a big journey to learn like how to manage that, how to bring pride to people in different ways than just performance. And to also like give myself a little bit of grace, I guess. um in terms of like performance pressures, because it is like internally, like I don't feel that externally, but from myself, like I definitely I want to perform and I want to showcase and give something back to all the people that have sacrificed a lot to get me to where I am. And yeah, like it's something that I think you learn in the journey. And maybe that's what the privilege is to be able to come out of this career and be like, wow, I learned a lot about how to manage pressure and how to turn that into something that's really productive and empowers me.
Well, it's been an incredible journey so far. We can't wait to see what you have in store for the upcoming games in Italy. Thanks so much for doing this, Isabel, and we wish you nothing but the best at the upcoming games.
Thank you for having me.